Hey guys, I'm going to keep this one short. It says that I have 12 minutes left on here. Alright. This video, don't keep it straight. I'll give some examples of a friend I know, but no names, obviously. Yes. I'm just thinking of the name of the title. Hey buddy, how's things? That's good. Yeah. Children's park down here. It's one of the things I sometimes walk past. Yes. So the title of this video, where is this walkway? That must be down here. The narcissist, you know, will smear your name or whoever's name with the very slightest of things. So, hey, how do you get out of these? There's a good dog down here. Good boy. Oh, he's gone. The big one trying to focus on this, but it was following me. He's like, hey, hey, what? Hello. Yeah, so how do you guys get yourself out of that situation? Well, it's easy, you just gotta go. What I mean by easy to figure out, hard to do. But go quietly. If you've had the benefit of, knowing about it for long enough and studying the channels and know the traits, that you can spot the traits in people, do everything you can to try and not jump from one to another. My friend, when he went from his abusive situation, another toxic family, you know, he just wanted to go, so he took the first accommodation available. He ended up in a rental property management company's site. Okay, so but it was a bit more expensive than where he was, but better there than, yeah. However, yes, these toxic people, let's put them toxic, they can get offended and hold grudges for months over the slightest things. Because this guy was, they told me he was given a contract and he read all the rules. Just going for another bushwalk. Going from another angle. He had read all the rules. He had signed the contract. He had read what his requirements were and how much he was to pay. Now the problem was later on, after he'd been there for about, he told me he'd been there for nearly 2 to 3 months, like 2.5 months. He told me that, and basically management, one specific part of management has said that he had to follow all these other rules that they had just come up with, but they wouldn't show him a contract. And so he was kind and polite and patient with them. But what happened was they mucked around with this new contract showing the new rules. And so, you know, he was keeping all his old rules, like always cleaning up his mess. You know, basically he was keeping all the old rules of the old contract. And what had happened was management didn't want to give him a new contract. And there was, he was getting conflicting messages from the manager that was getting a free room as well as $400 a week for managing that site, but the company had bigger management. Now this manager on the site was saying one thing, and the other management was, it was a pickled up situation. And what happened was because there was no contract, because there was nothing else, nothing along that nature had happened or been given to him. He said, look, you guys don't have the right to do that, because the original the contract that you gave me, the original one, tells me what all the rules are, what I must keep. Where's that walkway? Okay. Tells me what I'm meant to keep. And so what had happened was they hadn't given him a new contract. And the management was still going on, I will throw you out the house, and see, the manager that was on the site, not the big management. And so there was just a bit of an issue there, And that's what had happened. They continued to bang on about that. The manager who was on site, not the big management, not the management of the company, and they said, all this and then they kept threatening things that they didn't have the right to. By law, they couldn't do it. There's like general law, you have to give someone, 6 months, and there's like the whole 6 month to 12-month thing. And he hadn't even been there for 6 months, and they so he said, look, you guys just you like the specific one, you're just getting too big for your pants, basically, and that you don't have the right to do this, so you can't do it. So no, I'm not going to do all these add-on things and allow you just to go into my room without any permission or any forewarning. And I come home, and some rules they had added on was there was no heater going, but he wasn't allowed to use a heater even if it's winter, because it would be expensive, and he had to get rid of his blanket, other stuff. Anyway, the manager at the time got all butthurt, and over a series of events eventually left. Now the manager, what he didn't know, had been involved with some very dodgy people in her past. Well, let's call this manager M. Now there was a situation where my mate ended up leaving, but he had nowhere to go, so he had totally forgotten about that situation. Like, he thought there was no issues with him and M, and he didn't know much about M's past. And so he had received a text message from M saying, come and stay with me and my mate, it's a good safe place and all that. But what he didn't find out till he had moved in was her mate was a criminal who wasn't allowed back to Australia. We'll just call him S. And S had a partner called K. That's short for their names. Long story short, hang on, it's climbing up here. Long story short, she had been lying about things, and she ended up telling him some stuff about S and started spreading rumours. Yes. she had said to S, because after she had told him why S couldn't go back to Australia, he said, "Oh, I don't hope nothing happens between me and him." Or she would say, what happened if they did? But I was like, well, I just hope there isn't. And so what had happened was she started spreading rumours to S, saying that my mate wanted to kill him. This was not true. He knew it was a waste of time trying to argue or defend himself, because he'd only met S within, for a couple of weeks ago. She had known him for a couple of years. So, long story short, they can try anything, man. And positive thing, he was out. Once that started, he was out within the next payday. He was out, and now he's safe. So you guys just watch out for that stuff, eh? Here we go. Hopefully, you're not like my mate, where you can have a bit more wisdom, and also, as I see that, they got all but hurt just over there. And so, you guys keep yourselves safe. Again, it's just not worth arguing with these guys. And if you see any of these traits, step aside and let them do what they do. Because last I heard, M was staying with S while K was on holiday. So, hope everything's fine, but who knows.